Jenalee Marshall is a BYU-Idaho alumni and the owner of Jenalee Design, a graphic design studio in Salt Lake City, Utah. She has been helping solve visual problems in branding, packaging, ad campaigns, website design, architecture, and human-scale graphics for over 20 years. Jenalee has a degree in architecture and graphic design, as well as a minor in advertising, all from BYU-Idaho. Her clients are as diverse and colorful as she is. They range from multi-million-dollar corporations to government entities, inventors to young startups, the U.S. Air Force, Narchi Kids International Clothing Company, the city of Aviano, Italy, Utah Plastic Surgery Society, Halo CBD, Linda Paulson for Utah Senate, composer Ryan Stewart, and Heavenly Caramels Candy Company, to name a few. Jenalee is passionate about nutrition, fitness, biohacking, many of you will be looking up that one, cooking, creativity in all of its forms, tennis, volleyball, traveling the world, family game nights, beach time, and throwing lots of parties. Jenalee is the wife of Ryan Marshall, who has been serving our country in security forces for over 20 years. She is also the mother of 2 children, Preston and Jade. Out of all of the titles she holds, designer, business owner, entrepreneur, military spouse, athlete, teacher, the one she is most proud of is mommy. We're pleased to announce and hear from Jenalee today.
Oh, that was really well done. It makes me almost tear up. I don't know if it's Mother's Day that just happened or, the nerves in the room, but literally, I am so happy to be here. Hello, everyone. You've taken out time, whether you wanted to or not, to be here today and to hear me speak, and so thank you for being here. I'm really happy to be here and honored to be here. I do have something very important I want to start off with before we begin this presentation that I've prepared for you. Hopefully prepared for you. There we go. This is a 1 gigabyte file, by the way. It's highly visual graphics. Okay, so the one question that I have and that I want to start off with is this. I want you to get your phones out, your pencils and papers, and I want you to list 3 of the most important decisions you are facing now. We all have them. It doesn't matter your age and your aptitude. We all have decisions that are plaguing us, keeping us at night. And those 3 things I want you to list really quickly on your phone or on your paper of decisions that you're facing. Because we're going to talk about that later at the end of this. So I'll give you like a couple more seconds to think of them. And you know what they are. They're the ones that are like, oh, my career, oh, my family, oh, who am I going to marry? Where am I going to find Mr. Right or Mrs. Right? Whatever they are, I want you to write them down. Because they do matter. Having these perplexities matter. Okay, this is from President Joseph F. Smith. He said this: "It was never the intention of our Father in heaven to leave men to grope and feel their way in darkness, and that without any light to guide them, and expect them, and under such conditions, to find their way back into his kingdom and into his holy presence. That is not the way of the Lord. All down the ages, from the beginning of our Father in heaven, he has shown his kindness for his children and has been willing to give them direction." And he was willing to give you direction. Oh, do I need to get this on for? We good? Okay. All right. Perfecto. That's Italian, by the way. All right. Perfecto. Okay. So I want you to think about this promise that has been given us, that we will never be left without direction in our life with God on our side. And I want you to think of those 3 things, and then we're going to revisit them at the end. Because I promise you that out of those things, that you will have answers to those questions presented to you. Because you have a faithful heart, and God wants to bless you with all knowledge and truth and direction in your life. Okay. This is what I've been felt today to share with you. And it's something that as soon as I had the opportunity, I think it was like 8 months ago, to decide when to come and to ask for the specific month and time. You're meant to be here, because I specifically asked for this one a long time ago. And this is what I felt to say. What I did right while I was here at BYU-Idaho, and what I wish I would have known Okay, so you guys are going to learn from my triumphs and my trials. Okay, that's my hope. So that you don't have to repeat any of the same things I did, or the things that I did really well that helped me here to succeed, that you can repeat those as well. Okay. All right. I'm here today for some reason. Brother Scott Franson chose me or asked me whether he thought I'd be entertaining or just, a colorful opportunity visually to see things, that are diverse and interesting. I don't know. I don't think it was a talent-based thing, but I am here today because I am a graphic artist and you all are artists in some form of another, and we're here to celebrate creativity. So when taking the thought process of me, an artist, I never called myself an artist, even when I was in art school or even in architecture school. So I've never been big on titles in general. They seem so final, like a badge of honor that you have to earn. And I would never call myself an artist before now. But that is not true. We're all artists. And from the tiniest child up to the oldest person, we all have creativity and the divine maker inside of us that gives us that creativity. And so you're an artist and I'm an artist, and we're going to explore some of that today. All right. So at Jenalee Design, I have literally the best boss in the world. Okay. She gets top reviews year after year, and I couldn't imagine myself working for anybody but her. So yeah, it's me, basically. I am my brand. I own my own studio, and my brand is based on approachability, authenticity, enthusiasm, as you can probably tell when I smile and present a lot, and I'm very achievement oriented. All of my content on my website, my portfolio, my social media accounts, and everything that you see when you search my name is a look inside of my life on how I think, what I'm involved in, even my family dynamics, and at times I'll have my faith highlighted. This openness is how I present myself to the world and to other clients and businesses. And for me, it's on brand. And my whole tagline is called Hourly Transparent Design. So I charge my clients for my time, which is the most valuable thing that I have. And I'm very transparent in how I do that. And people respond to it very well and appreciate it. And it's what's distinguished me from other competitors within my industry. And again, it aligns with my core values. It's 100% my philosophy. And I think that design should be available to all. Okay. I know you're all here to see what I've done since graduating, to assess or critique, that's okay, what it's like to get out into the world and what it looks like. Here are some of my projects, about 2%, I'm going to show you today, of my work as a professional designer. As Scott said, my clients are diverse and sometimes colorful, like this one, extremely colorful. This was IntraScience, a nutritional supplement company that I designed. And then for all you photographers out there, yeah, I photograph everything on my website. I did take photography and then history of photography, and I've been able to use that as an art student back then and then now in my business. So my design is various in scope, in budget, in industry, in style, and so much more. They're each very unique, as you can see from these ones that are some branding that I've done recently. That's one of the reasons why I love owning my own studio. I love diversity. In catalogs, such as this one, this is a cabinet manufacturer in Salt Lake City, to packaging design, to social media. I love designing websites and advertising and branding. Get off of that. For me, variety is the spice of life. And I actually wrote that in one of my speeches for Brother Judkins. He was one of my professors in the comm department when I got my advertising degree. And I still use that phrase. I love that, the spice of life. Variety is the spice of life. And we as artists really appreciate that and use it within our work. I have designed for authors, like this one with Bella Riley, for Liveru Press, and for other ones that are coming out that you'll see later in my presentation. I've designed for restaurants. This particular client is named Moki's. It's a Hawaiian grill. and I helped them with packaging design. I designed their website, and I photographed their entire menu. They came to my house. We photographed it in my kitchen, and I got to keep all the food, and my family got to eat every single thing that they made. So they love the fact that I'm a designer and that I'm able to do that and use my diversity and my training here at BYU-Idaho to do many things for companies and help them out. I design for startups. I design for nonprofits and online retailers and more. And as you can see, they all have various styles and feelings about them. All right, it was a lifelong dream for me to design and build my own home. I didn't think it was possible, but we tried. We graduated from here. We went back to Salt Lake City, and my husband and I, we tried to buy into the neighborhood. We could not buy into the neighborhood. All of our offers were getting rejected. So I saw that there was this lot. No one had built on it in my neighborhood for like 10 years. Like no one built around it, it's just sitting there. So I hunted down, you can find out who owns the lot number online. I hunted down who owned it. It was a developer. And for 6 months, our realtor and I, we worked on him until we were able to buy it and then build my dream home, which is right around the corner from my parents. And it's called the Marshall. It was in the Salt Lake Parade of Homes. And it was a lifelong dream to be able to do that. And it's still one of the things that on my bucket list I didn't think was possible, but God created a way for me to be able to do that and live near my parents as I was raising my young kids. Okay, I have also put my architecture degree to use designing custom homes and helping clients renovate. My goal in each project is always the same: to solve visual problems, to increase beauty where I can, and to do my best helping companies and individuals. The most rewarding for me is when I get to collaborate with companies that align with my core values or my lifestyles. And this is Mountain Wellness Kitchen, and it's a company that's in a restaurant that started as a restaurant in Heber City, Utah, so by Park City, and they do meals and food that is Whole30 or paleo or keto, that kind of thing. And they have recently gone from just being a restaurant to they're launching lines of cookies, which I get to sample those. And then I'm designing a sourdough starter, the packaging for, and then we're going to do energy bites as well. And those will be distributed in places like Harmon's and grocery stores, starting in Salt Lake City, and we'll see where it goes from there. All right. So now here's the interesting part, at least I think, the really personable part. Who here's from Utah? Oh, okay, all right. And who is not? Oh, yeah, way more. And when did I mention Utah, who thinks that members like me and those couple that raised their hand at the beginning from Utah have a certain quality, right? Like the Utah Mormons, certain quality. Well, let me tell you a story, and it all started in 1982. I know, that's a long time ago. Some of you guys were like a thought, way back then, but it all started in 1982. Okay. I come from a very interesting family dynamic. I'm the youngest by 11 years, and I have 4 half-brothers and sisters. And there's 5 of us total in my family, and only 2 of us are members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, or what I would consider active Mormons. And growing up, I had a wide variety of diversity in my family. Subjects were brought up, with 17-year-olds and a 5-year-old present all the time. And I learned to be very accepting of other people. My family was also very supportive and loving of me, all of them. I played outside, I did board games. I had a Sega Genesis. Those of you old enough to know what that is, we had a Sega Genesis, and I would shoot the ducks or whatever it was and play Sonic the Hedgehog eventually. But also, growing up, I was bullied severely until I was about 13 years old. Relentless, tormenting, crying, at night kind of bullying. And because of that, it was because of how I looked. And that was hard for me to deal with, and that's maybe some of the reasons why I'm so visually adept now. I notice what's beautiful, and I want to portray what's beautiful, is because I had to be told about how ugly I was or how overweight I was. and it left a mark on me, but I'm taking it and I'm turning it towards the better with my career. I found out that I was athletic. I played competitive volleyball and I was on varsity tennis, and I excelled in athletics, and that taught me certain values: how to get along with people, how to accept losses, and how to take care of my body and be a leader. It also taught me, going through this at a young age, to be achievement oriented. So I was a straight A student. I did my very best, and I do that now even in my career and with my family. I always strive to be my very best. Now, in January of 1999, I know, 1900s, right? I was thinking, where do I want to go to school? Previously, I did not want to go to BYU or any BYU school, or the U of U. I didn't want to go to either of those. I was looking at the University of Idaho for their architecture program. And I spent a summer prior to that with my cousins, and we visited again. And I visited Rick's College campus and did the whole tour. And you know what? The Spirit said, this is exactly where you need to go. No qualms, no nothing. I knew where I needed to go. I accepted a half scholarship, which was nothing compared to the other scholarships I had in volleyball and academics. And I came here. Off to Rick's. Nope. It's now BYU-Idaho. On June 21st, 2000, President Gordon B. Hinckley made an announcement that would change the lives of thousands of students, like me. The first presidency of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints and the board of the trustees of Rick's College announced that Rick's College will change from its present 2-year junior college status to a 4-year institution. And this is funny. At the time of enrollment, it was 8,840 students. After that announcement, then Rick's College President David A. Bednar told the audience this. He said, I would have been less surprised if they announced the school was closed. So he was completely caught off guard too. And now as of spring 2025, which this is your guys' semester, I believe, it's 14,700 students, almost double. And those are just students living in Rexburg, Idaho. The total online with Pathway is 37,133. So it became BYU-Idaho while I was there. So I was an architecture major. I loved it. My plan was to go to the University of Idaho, who had a great architectural program that fed into firms in Seattle. That was kind of my dream and my goal. While I was here, I worked for Excita, which Brian Howard was an advisor of, and I was in leadership from the very beginning. First as a church editor, and then in charge of all of the editors, and then finally editor-in-chief in charge of everybody my 3rd year. It was an amazing experience, and I was able to compete and travel in that. I was also able to compete and travel in the architecture department for representing our school, BYU-Idaho. And we went to Atlanta, Georgia, and presented in front of the National Association of Home Builders, and we took first in the nation. And all of that here at BYU-Idaho, these opportunities. What happened my 2nd year, as I was about to end, I found out that the University of Idaho would no longer accept BYU credits for their first 2 years of programs. They basically said you had to start over to 0. They won't accept the first 2 years. And previously they had. So, oh my goodness, what do I do? Oh, this is like change, right? My plan is shifted. It's completely not shifted, it's gone, out the door. So I applied for the interior design department. They said, no, thank you. You'd have to start over. I'm like, okay. And so then I decided graphic design. Design is design, right? You can apply the same principles to a multiple variety of mediums. And so that's what I did. I figured I can take these same principles and this love and I can use it in a different medium. And so I started my program my 3rd year into art. I minored in advertising with the communications department because to me they work hand in hand. You know, you're taking something that's a skill, graphic design and an art for the masses, and you're applying business principles to it to have the ultimate combination. And I loved doing that for the advertising department. But be careful, because things can happen at weddings, okay? All right. Everything changes when you meet your forever person. I didn't plan on getting married. I didn't date hardly at all here, honestly. There was a couple stalkers, which is another time. But like I did date a little bit, but not a lot. And I met Ryan, and our best friends got married. It's like a Hallmark movie, right? Our best friends got married at Boise. It was for 3 days that we had to go, and I was a bridesmaid and he was a groomsman. And I got to know him and instantly felt comfortable around him, instantly felt connected, like I'd known him my whole life. And the Spirit told me right then, well, not right then, but a couple weeks later, as we started, later when we started to date, that this was the person for me, and I need to make choices based on this. Just like when I pivoted and went to BYU-Idaho, or Rick's at the time. So what happened, we decided to get married when he found out that he was going to be stationed in Aviano, Italy, halfway around the world. So we got married. I knew he was the one, and I stopped my program. I had one design class. Scott Franson, that was your class. I had one design class behind me, okay, that's it. And then my art, like drawing and things, and then my architecture degree. And I moved halfway around the world to Italy. Okay. So we lived life in Europe for 4 years in the northern part of Italy. It was beautiful. It was scary at times. They don't speak English there. I had to learn a new language. We had to depend on each other. I was 21 years old when I got married. And so from 21 to 25 is when I was living in Italy. I also was able to work at the U.S. Air Force. They had a marketing department. And I was basically the only designer there. And it was an easy experience. I learned a lot. I got to work with printers, trying to talk to them in Italian of how to press check and adjust the Pantone colors and things like that. You designers will know what that is. And it was just a wonderful experience. I was free to design as I wanted, and I got things done very quickly. I had a skill for getting things done very quickly, so I would have lots of time to develop my design aesthetic and have multiple options for things. Okay. We finished our 4 years. We both applied to BYU-Idaho. We both got in. He left the Air Force full-time and went to the Air National Guard, and so we were able to come back to BYU-Idaho, and now I can officially call myself an artist because I'm no longer in just one class of graphic design. I can really delve in. So I came back. 4 years later, I came back to BYU-Idaho. Some interesting facts is the first time I was at BYU-Idaho, when I was single, I had 22 roommates over those course of those 3 years. So you guys, I know you have to shift a lot and get along with people. This time I just had one. I had my husband. I was voted the most commercial looking designer one time in Kelly Bergner's class. I don't know if that was a compliment or not, but anyways, it's something I remember. I remember feeling impressed to apply for the BFA program, and I got in, and I was grateful for that. And then I felt impressed to decline it, which seemed rude, I'm sure, from the instructor's standpoint. But it didn't work out with my schedule and my timeline of when I wanted to graduate with my husband. So I declined it. I remember crying in Brother Randall's office once. Who has Brother Randall or has had, is he even here? I don't even know. Okay. Anyway, I remember crying in his office one time because I had to drop one of his classes because I was just too scheduled and too stressed, and I knew that I couldn't keep both, and so I dropped his, and I remember crying in his classroom. I'm sure he was like, oh, another crazy design student. Here I go. All right. BYU-Idaho is amazing. It's a unique place, as you know, and if you don't know, you will know by the time you leave here. The Spirit cannot be restrained by attending a gathering of holy people. If you hope to feel the Spirit, be with people with whom the Spirit can easily dwell. Choose to be with people and go to places where righteousness is found. Find your strength in numbers. Find good friends. Be good friends. Support one another wherever you are, and stand with holy people. That was by Elder Gary E. Stevenson. Also, I want to talk to you about this unique situation that you're in with people that we are like-minded in some ways we're different, but we have the core faith values to bind us together. Did you know that there was a study done by Nicholas Tchaikovsky and James Fowler? It was called the Framingham Heart Study. Their research showed that if your friends smoke, you are 61% more likely to be a smoker yourself. And similar effects were found for other traits like happiness, weight, and even divorce rates. So just simply by being here and by being surrounded by good people, you're going to bring yourself higher as a group. We kind of do that in church, don't we? Isn't church like a bunch of sinners just trying to make it back together? Yeah, we can help each other just by being together and having our faith being our strong knit. A Harvard study by social psychologist Dr. David McClellan found, he researched a bunch of subjects, and that people you regularly associate with can determine as much as 95% of your success or failure in life. So you want to be successful, you hang around successful people. If you want to be motivated, you hang around motivated people. If you want to be more fit, anything, you find the traits you want to be with, and then you attract yourself to those people, and together you've got 95% success rate. That's pretty good. And BYU-Idaho, I feel, is one of those for me in my life. Okay. So what kind of student was I like here at BYU-Idaho the second time? I learned to love art in all of its forms, in different mediums, like photography here. And let's see, potters out there, ceramicists. There's got to be a couple. Oh, I was horrible in high school. Horrible. Like the most, and obviously you're going to pick this apart anyways because you're critiquing me. That's okay. But I loved pottery. Something clicked, and at least I could get the wheel working for once. But I love ceramics here, and I still do that. Even to this day, I have a whole closet in ceramicists, you'll know. I have a whole closet packed, stacked, and then summer sets and things. So it's a lifelong thing as an art major. Once you start creating, allow it to be part of your life forever, because I love ceramics, still do. And definitely I did design. Here are just a few examples of my work here as a student. This was for packaging design. And then the Save T was for conceptual design. That was a fun class. This project, this was to design and illustrate 3 books. Illustrators here, I do not like to draw. Bless you for loving to draw. Fine art students, bless you. Sitting for 10 hours and shading and doing that is like really hard for me. I do well at it. I'm good at it if I sit and try, but I do not like to illustrate and draw. So I hacked this, okay? I chose books that the subject matter was basically, I'm able to illustrate it with the subject. So for instance, The Poor Man and the Rich Man, I illustrated that with currency. Did not have to draw. Just used foreign currency, domestic currency, and that's how I illustrated that first book. The next book I illustrated was Hansel and Gretel. I did that with cookies. I literally baked cookies, iced them, photographed them, and then assembled them, and I didn't have to really illustrate. So that was my second one. My third one, it was back a couple slides, but it was called The 3 Spinning Women, and that's by the Brothers Grimm. It's not really well known, but it's about like spinning women, like spinning a thread. And so I illustrated that with anything, notions of sewing, or I do things with a string to illustrate it, and I didn't have to draw. So I like to hack it that way. I loved my design packaging ones. This one was for packaging with Brother Bergner, and it was to illustrate a toy line that you would pitch to Pottery Barn kids. So I used a lot of textures, and I had a limited color palette, and then it was printed on a really expensive craft paper, like a recycled craft paper, because those people respond well to limitation and playfulness with this one, since it was a kid's toy. And I also did serious ones, like this was you research and then you educate the public on a global issue. And I chose sex trafficking, which is the fastest growing illegal industry in the world. And it's second to drug trafficking. And it was really sad to research this and delve into this. And I really did. And we did a survey of before and after of educating people and through the project, and people had no idea what it was. And this is back in 2008, so hopefully you guys have heard more about it now. But this one I used Barbie because Barbie is an object, and everyone knows who Barbie is, and you can reuse Barbie again and again and again, just like a real person. So I did all the packaging inside. I did her handcuffs that were on there, and that one, sometimes design is heavy like that, but this is something I did as a student here. Okay, so I graduated. Woohoo! Okay, graduated in 15 months, my BYU 2.0, 15 months. And what's interesting is both my husband and I graduated at the same time, and we both got our bachelor's, and we both got a minor with our bachelor's. I was 26 years old when I finished here. And minus the 4 years off that I took in Italy, we'll call that a vacation, because it kind of was, you know. It took me 4.5 years to get 2 degrees and 1 minor, an associate's, applied associate's in architecture, a Bachelor of Science in Design, and then a minor in advertising. So it was a good use of time here, and I loved it here. All right, getting a job. It was 2008. You guys were probably 5 years old. But it was 2008. We had a recession when I graduated. It was hard. I mean, I graduated top of my class. I had A's galore. I was full ride scholarship for my academics, everything. I interviewed very well. But there was just limited jobs. And so it was scarce, even though I'd worked for the Air Force and I had a decent portfolio and good resumes from the people I'd associated with. Now, I was interviewing for a job at overstock.com or o.co, and they took me aside after the interview and said, we don't want to hire you for this. We want to create a position for you in leadership. We want you to completely redesign the platform and everything of Overstock. And I was, what an honor, and the salary and everything to create something just for me. And I said I'd think about it, and then I had a temple appointment the next day. And so I went to the temple and I exited with my husband and my mom. I remember it very distinctively in Draper. And I knew I shouldn't take this position. So I called them and I declined it, just like that BFA program, right? I called it and I declined it, and then I felt peace about it. So I knew it was the right decision. And a couple months later, Narchi Kids, which is an international clothing company, I interviewed with them, and they hired me. And I was the design department. I had a chief marketing officer over me in leadership, but I was able to work for them. So it was a fun job. I was able to help select models and do photo shoots, run with photographers and help art direct. I was able to do storefronts and coming soon signs and signage, and it was a really fun experience. And I was able to inject my family into modeling positions as like babies and toddlers, like my cousins and things. So that was fun to work for them. I only worked for them for a year. And then something glorious happened, a blessing that was planned and that we were excited for. Preston, he was announced to me and my husband, and we were excited to have him, and so I was pregnant, and I had a great excuse to leave that job and to start on my own as a designer. All right, many of you are going to face important challenges, and maybe this is one of the challenges that you wrote down, is how to balance family and work. And that was something that I thought about my whole life, and I actually chose to be a designer for architecture because of that. You can choose your own hours if you own your own business, and I chose to be that as a graphic designer, thinking I'm going to own my own business one day and I want to be a stay-at-home mom. Now, if any of you have seen Latter-day Profiles, I was interviewed on that. It's done through your university here, and Bryant Howard is the one that interviews. And I didn't want to be a stay-at-home mom just to, get out of working or anything. I actually really, really, really wanted to work. It was hard for me to make that decision, but God asked me to be a mother first and foremost. And I covenanted with him before this life even happened that I would do that. And so I made the choice in the career path to balance family and career by having my own business. Now I want to say that right choices, they increase to more right choices, I found out. Every time, this is by Dieter F. Uchtdorf, he says, every time you turn your heart to God in humble prayer, you experience his light. Every time you seek his word in all the scriptures, that light grows in brightness. Every time you notice someone in need and sacrifice your own comfort to reach out in love, that light expands and swells. Every time you reject temptation and choose purity, every time you seek or extend forgiveness, every time you courageously testify of truth. That light chases away darkness and attracts others who are seeking light and truth. And I found that with my own life, of making that one small choice has led to so much successes in other ways, that God has never left me alone with that. Everything I have experienced in my life has led to successes. It doesn't mean it's been easy. In fact, it's been hard at times, and we'll discuss some of that in a bit. But how do I define success? I define success as being fulfilled in all of my interests and family connections. I define it as if you're going to do something, you do it really well. So, with this in mind, I love what President Hinckley said. He talks about life and work. I have discovered that life is not a series of heroic acts. Life, at its best, is a matter of consistent goodness and decency, doing without fanfare that which needed to be done when it needed to be done. I have observed that it is not the geniuses that make the difference in this world. I have observed that the work of the world is done largely by men and women of ordinary talent, I would say like me, who have worked in an extraordinary manner. And that's how I would say that life and work and balance can all work together for your good. All right, I continued to design with my family. I designed this one was an entrepreneur that launched a thing with Walmart. We were pitching for Walmart, and so I had to do graphics for Walmart presentations. These were just some of them. It's little patches that you kiss and send for people that are far away, like military, or if people are gone overseas, not for military, but like for missions or things. You can kiss them a patch and send them good luck. I also help clients with remodels of homes, of businesses, of interiors for restaurants, and also for pool houses like this one. Not mine, I wish. It'd be nice to have one. People who were noteworthy and had YouTube channels and toured the world, like Rise Up Children's Choir. And I designed for businesses that were really specialized in their industry, like medical practices, and who knows what a thumb grip is. I designed this for TOGs. It's mountain biking accessories, these thumb grips. So very specialized things. Everything's a new day in my world. Okay, what I did right at BYU-Idaho. I went through all my notes and I found 4 things that I thought that I did really right, and I hope that you will learn from what I did right, and then we'll talk about what I wish I would have done. Okay. The first one, several times I adapted to change. I had changed a lot in my life, from where I would live, who I'd marry, where I'd go to school, so many things. These are big forks in the road for you guys, and it's gotten you here. The Spirit has led you here so far. You're going to have more in your life. When to have kids, what to do with anything. You're going to have things that you're going to need to change for. There's 3 things that I noticed with being adaptable to change. The first is that God knows you. He loves you perfectly, period. End of story. In Doctrine and Covenants 78:18 it says, "And ye cannot bear all things now, nevertheless be of good cheer, for I will lead you along. The kingdom is yours, and the blessings thereof are yours, and the riches of eternity are yours." So you can have faith in that. The second was being led by the Spirit to change direction as needed. So you have to be in a mental position, your heart in a position where you can pivot where you need to. Our perspective is like a dot. God's perspective is infinite, right? And so are you being willing to be redirected? Because your vantage point is like this, and God can see the whole picture behind 360. So trust in him. And the next one is where to go to college, what to major in, who to marry. So big life decisions. I need to be adaptable for the Spirit. All right, the next one, being adaptable by change. I love this, by President Thomas S. Monson. Day by day, minute by minute, second by second, we went from where we were to where we are now. The lives of all of us, of course, go through similar alterations and changes. The difference between the changes in my life and the changes in yours is only in the details. Time never stands still. It must steadily march on. And with that marching comes the changes. This is our one and only chance at mortal life, here and now. The longer we live, the greater is our realization that it is brief. Opportunities come, and then they are gone. I believe that among the greatest lessons we are to learn in this short sojourn upon the earth are lessons that help us distinguish between what is important and what is not. I plead with you not to let those most important things pass you by as you plan for that elusive and non-existent future when you will have time to do all that you need, time to do all that you want to do. Instead, find joy in the journey now. Another thing that I thought that I did right while at BYU-Idaho is I was very well-rounded, meaning I enjoyed all aspects of my life. The first thing that helped me to be well-rounded is I had a pretty good idea of who I was. I used to take personality tests, the color code, Myers-Briggs, other ones from a psychology standpoint. I love them all. If you want to, I would highly suggest this. Those of you in the next, on Friday, we're going to be talking about your personality and how it helps you with your branding and helps you navigate your field within graphic design in the future. So if you want to scan that, take this test later. If you have, it's eye-opening. You will love it. And it's free too. Okay, so do what you love and figure out who you are and then pursue it all. We're not one-dimensional beings. You're not just supposed to do your career and that's it, or just go to church all the time, the temple, and that's it. We have to live through all aspects of this mortality, and some of that's joy in finding out what you love to do and how you love to interact with people, or maybe not interact with people. You need to figure out who you are so that you can find joy in your journey. Don't assume that you can only be one thing or do one thing. I had an architecture degree. I was in recital leadership, which I'm not an editor. I didn't do English for fun. I just, I enjoyed that and I utilized that experience. I got a minor in advertising. I played sports. I did intercollegiate tennis and volleyball. I took racquetball. I did snowboarding. I had a sports class every semester because it brought me joy. And it did take me a quarter of a semester longer because I did it, but I was having fun. I loved it. And I enjoyed all of my art classes, even the ones I didn't think I would like history of photography for my art history degree. I love that class. It was amazing. I still have fond memories of some of those photos that we learned. And the third thing is diversity leads to expanded opportunities. The more people you know and disciplines that you know, the more experiences will come your way because you're a more interesting, dynamic person. So be well-rounded. That's what happened with Moki's. I photographed, I did their website, I did their packaging that we talked about earlier. I had aptitudes in many of these things, so I was able to help them in many of these things and be a useful source and generate more income from it. Okay, the third thing is be amazing. You all have it in you to be amazing. Sometimes it's hard to wake up, for that 7 a.m. class or whatever you need to do, but you have it in you to be amazing. You just need to make it a choice. Whatever you do, do your best always, I would say. This is from President Russell M. Nelson, our current prophet. True disciples of Jesus Christ are willing to stand out, speak up, and be different from the people of the world. They are undaunted, devoted, and courageous. So don't be afraid to be different. And it's okay to be different here, too, I would say. I definitely was. The advisors that had me, I'm sure, could attest. The next thing that President Monson said that I loved was those things which make us different from most of the world also provide us with that light and that spirit which will shine in an increasingly dark world. So you're naturally going to stand out when you have the spirit with you in the best possible sense. People can't deny it. It's like a moth to a flame. It draws them to them. And the ones that aren't meant to be with you, that are bad choices for your life, it will repel them because they don't see your light because they have darkness or dark intentions. Okay, so you're a creative. All of us are. Whether you're an art major or not, you guys are all creative. But especially you art majors, you've got to hold that badge of honor of creativity. Embrace it. Find joy in it. Don't let your career in the arts burn you out. I paint for fun. You can see a couple of them here. I photograph my own work and my kids all the time, finding joy in that. I compete in art shows. Sometimes, if I'm lucky, I'll get a prize. Like that pottery I got prize, it's called Belonging. But I don't stop creating because it brings me joy. And it helps me not to, again, burn out because it brings me joy. Okay. I inject creativity and learning and design into my personal life. I'm sure you guys do that naturally too. But I learned to do that here as well. I used to make CD covers. Before as a graphic designer, I was on Word, I think it was, and I was making CD covers with those Avery labels back in the day. Like, that's how I knew I was a graphic designer in a closet, right? That's what I would do. So I inject creativity and learning and design into my personal life. I experiment. You guys saw it with the buttons. There wasn't one particular style or even typography, right? No, they were all different. Hopefully you found one that spoke to you, and if you haven't, there's a free one out there for you as you leave. I learn and I showcase my talents designing for my church callings all the time. On social media, in creating recipes. I do that for fun because of how I eat. And then my personal projects, and definitely in my business. I never stop being amazing in my own very unique way. All right, the most important and longest lasting trait I would say was be spiritually strong. Be spiritually strong that I learned here at BYU-Idaho. It's an active word, to be. It requires effort. To keep the honor code, and it's hard. Do it. It will bless you. Don't study on Sunday. I used to study on Sunday, even from Utah in high school. I made a covenant with God in my head. I'm not going to do that for calculus. Engineering calculus, by the way, Brother Jensen, I had to take engineering calculus at 7 a.m. every day. I made that covenant, and I got an A in that class. So, and I got an A in other hard classes in engineering, which my mind doesn't even think that way. I just had to do it for my degree. Curfew isn't for punks. It's not. I know you guys think that curfew is something that's just a dread. It kept me safe from so many things, I'm sure. And curfew leads to increased freedom because you're not going to make horrible decisions at midnight if you're at home in your bed where you should be. So curfew, if you can handle curfew, you're amazing. The second thing is that family first. It leads to success at BYU-Idaho and more. This motto has led me to success and in my business. Marrying the right person in the right place at the right time, when to have kids. Personally, we rely on one income. This is something I felt very impressed from the beginning, even knowing that I'm going to have my own business. So all the decisions financially that we make as a couple, we rely on one income, and anything I make is a bonus. So we are not in debt. We are not, worried about that. And that's something that if you make a decision now, things like that, for your family, your family won't be in a position where you have to do something based on money, which is becoming more and more prevalent, that you have to have two incomes. And then I made a choice to own my own business and stay at home by putting family first. And then the third one for being spiritually strong is that gratitude goes a long way when life gets hard. When I think about money, when I think about my house, which is a really nice house, honestly, it's worth a lot, and my land and everything, I don't think it's mine. I think it's a blessing from Heavenly Father. So it's not my money anyway. Tithing isn't my money anyway. It's God's money. So shifting my way of thinking. And God loves me always. Helps me be spiritually strong. Surely the word of wisdom was given so that you may keep the delicate, sensitive, spiritual part of your nature on proper alert. Learn to listen to your feelings. You will be guided and warned and taught and blessed. Even though young life is always filled with uncertainties, young people, do not fear the future. Your young dreams can be realized. All of your worthy, natural, physical, and emotional desires can be satisfied. You will find a companion to whom you can offer a body free from addiction, from depressants, from stimulants, and a mind sensitive to spiritual guidance and impressions. Especially with the honor code, this is true 100% to help keep you spiritually strong. All right, the darker stuff. what I wish I would have known, okay? I was not prepared in all ways. I didn't succeed in everything. So I hope you guys learn from my experiences for your own lives. The first one is business basics. Not a clue, not really, honestly. How to make money, okay. This is what I have learned for making money. It's best for me that I've learned, you gain experience at a larger company. You take what you learn there and you can apply it to a new company or to your own company. Know your worth. So know what is your time worth. I started as a freelancer at $25 an hour. That was my hourly rate when I first started, and that was back in 2004. So, and then if you deserve a raise, ask for it. It's okay. Increase your rates as you gain experience and hustle. You have to hustle in the arts and in this industry. Starting a legal business. I avoided doing anything permanent, so I just had, it's called a sole proprietorship under my name. That made it easy. I didn't have to fill out any forms, but you know what? It was a gamble that I've learned. I could have been sued and people could go for after anything that I own. So I would recommend any of you owning your own business to do an LLC. An LLC is a limited liability company, and in Utah it's only $59 for the fee that covers the filing and a certificate of organization. It's just a couple paperwork, and in small business centers all across America, and I'm sure here, they can help you set that up. So I would definitely suggest that. Keep records for taxes of all the money you spend within your industry, from paintbrushes to the newest camera to an advertising flyer that you do for yourself. Use it for taxes. And then what has worked and what has not. I've used my name for 20 years, which I said, and that worked for me. Luckily, I was never sued, but it could have happened. And I'm grateful that the Spirit told me to change it. I haven't been sued yet. I don't anticipate it, but it's a smart practice, a business practice. I had no clue, like, the difference between the two or the liabilities. And then the third one is, how do I compete? I didn't know how to compete like I did when we talk and present and critique each other in art school, but I didn't know how to compete against other people. And I didn't, even though I thought that I was a good designer and I did well, I didn't know how to talk myself up. So you've got to talk about your art, your skills. You've got to be able to pitch yourself and what brings, what your ideas bring to the table versus anybody else. So you got to get familiar with that. The next thing is diversify. So at first I didn't know how to build a website. I have since, over the last 8 years, been prompted to learn how to do that, and now I can design websites and be a source of income for that. And then stand out. What are your talents within your industry? What do you love to do? I mean, what do you really love to do? And stand out in that. What motivates you? You need to learn to talk about your craft, and you need to learn to sell why clients should choose you over anyone else. I 100% agree with that. And that's kind of what I do. So now I let the world know why they should collaborate with me. I have a page that discusses why choose me, why I'm the one. On my social media, I'll talk about my strengths and what I bring to the table from a variety of standpoints. For my whole thing is what you see is what you get. And so I talk about how I have 2 decades experience here in Europe designing graphics, and that people love my transparent way of billing, which is hourly transparent design. So how many of you have a website currently? Some of you. Okay, all of you should have a website. I know it's daunting, but it doesn't have to be. There's platforms out there like Squarespace, Etsy if you sell things. There's things like Wix.com. They can all help you figure out how to design a website. Every minute and every day that you do not have a website up, you are losing experience on how to run a website and keep it maintained and not pay somebody else to do it. You're losing credibility in showing your portfolio, and you're losing leads for work. So 100% get a website going. All right, the second thing is disappointment. We've all felt disappointment, especially after a really hard critique or a B on a paper that you thought you would get an A on. We've all felt disappointment in some respects. Now, disappointment it's going to happen in life. People will let you down. Clients are going to let you down. Colleagues are going to let you down. You may even let yourself down. But challenges bring satisfaction. Wait, what? Yeah, they do. Challenges bring forth satisfaction. So Liz Wiseman, she gave a speech at BYU called The Power of Not Knowing. And this is what she said. We found an interesting relationship between challenge level and satisfaction. We surveyed more than 1,000 people asking those two questions. How challenged are you in your work? And how satisfied are you in your work? We found a really interesting linear correlation. As challenge level went up, so did the satisfaction. It's kind of our happy place because we are built for challenge. So often we are at our best when we know the very least. Isn't that kind of why you're at university studying? To learn, to grow, to become better? I think we need to recognize that we tend to do our best work when we are on the outer edges of what we know. We are doing something hard and new, and when we are going and growing through challenge. The third thing is self-worth. I kind of talked a little bit about this as a child, right? It carries over a little bit, I think, a little throughout life. But self-worth is something that I didn't quite understand how that would impact my career. Whoops. We as artists are constantly comparing ourselves. We put it up there for everyone to see and tear down and build up, right? Be comfortable with your unique style and your point of view. Note trends, but don't feel you have to be trendy. Most jobs will come to you because of what? And here's what I think. People like your work and its consistency. People like your personality. Or people see that you're a leader within your field. So don't be afraid to be you. You'll stand out that way, like we discussed earlier. The world will take you and try to mold you in what is convenient or popular or to accomplish its own needs, especially in the career of the arts. You're not good enough, it screams. No one likes what you do. You're not going to do anything worthwhile. Drown out the world and know that your self-worth is based on your celestial soul. No one can even begin to guess the things that you're capable of. Look at these photos right here, right? Or the things that you can accomplish or how you can change for the better. With God on your side, you cannot fail. And I testify that 100% in my life and in my career. Know who you are. Elder Stephen R. Bangerter, he said this, when he created you spiritually, he's referring to Heavenly Father, he loved you as his spirit sons and daughters and embedded within you a divine nature and eternal destiny. During your premortal life, you developed your identity and increased your spiritual capacities. You were blessed with the gift of agency, the ability to make choices for yourself, and you did make important decisions, like come in here. Why did it matter to seek to know and understand your foreordination in a day when questions abound, when so many seek to know their true identity? The fact that God knows and has blessed each of us individually before we were ever born on this earth with essential characteristics of premortal, mortal, and eternal identity and purpose brings sweet peace and assurance to our mind and heart. He knew you're going to be here. He knew you'd choose the choices that you'd make, and he wants you to be the best version of yourself that you can be. He wants you to be successful, to find joy. Okay, the last one is trials. Accept it's part of life. I've had several trials in my life. I was teased in elementary school. I actually really wanted to date way more than I did in college. Like, I was boy crazy. I delayed going to school. It all worked out. Not dating enough, it worked out. I found my forever person. Being bullied, I'm pretty dang good looking now. I'm good. I'm fine. They can, yeah, my 20th high school reunion, it's going to be funny. Everything works out as long as you keep God on your side and have him to direct you in your life. I also had a back injury, you guys. Artists, you know this. You're hunched in positions for a long time. You're at the computer for a long time. You're lifting heavy pieces of clay off the floor. Okay? Right now you may not feel it, but your body's amazing. It may fail you. And I had it fail me, my back. And as an athlete, that was really hard. And as a designer, I had to take a break and reevaluate and heal. So trials. This is me during my back injury time. I was actually bedridden for part of it. I felt really strongly not to take any drugs for pain medication. And I felt really strongly that I could get through this with Heavenly Father's help. And so I turned to nutrition and to learning about how amazing the body is to recover. And I didn't have surgery to take drugs or anything. And I've been able to recover. Trials. I stand in awe of the miracle of the human body. It is a magnificent creation, essential to our gradual ascent towards our ultimate divine potential. We cannot progress without it. In giving us the gift of a body, God has allowed us to take a vital step towards becoming more like Him. Satan understands this. He chafes at the fact that his premortal apostasy permanently disqualifies him from this privilege, leaving him in a constant state of jealousy and resentment. Thus, many, if not most, of the temptations he puts in our way or our path cause us to abuse our bodies or the bodies of others, because Satan is miserable without a body. He wants us to be miserable because of ours. Don't let him be miserable. So for me, one of the trials I had was my body and not giving in to things that could damage it further or that could cause addiction. That was by President Russell M. Nelson, that quote. This is one of the books that I've done. This is the second in a series called The Bad Day Book. It's a hilarious book of people's horrible days and how they turned it into a learning experience or something funny. And I designed the logo for this, the jacket, the back cover, everything. So there's the original, and then there's a parenting edition for all the parents out there who can barely make it through the day. So it's fun to think about the bad things you go through in the trials. They can turn into something positive. Oh, back to that. I had this other thought that I loved. Hank Smith, he has a podcast. I don't listen to it, but he said something really interesting once in an interview that stuck with me. He said, "The kindest people you know, those who have incredible patience and understanding with others, have seen terrible, dark days. They have had moments with their hearts that was stretched by intense pain, and their character is unchanging because despair once deeply excavated their soul." Excavated their soul. I love that. Okay. You and I have the God-given gift to choose the direction we go. Do you remember that question from the beginning? The 3? Each must ask these questions. Where am I going? How do I intend to get there? And what is my divine destiny? It has been said that the gate of history turns on small hinges, and so do people's lives. The choices we make determine our destiny. That was by Thomas S. Monson. What I did right at BYU can also help you if you be adaptable to change, be well-rounded in your interest in what causes you to feel joy in this life, be amazing in whatever pursuits you do. Just do your very best. And stay spiritually strong. All of these things I wish I would have known at BYU-Idaho. Learn from my mistakes so that you don't make them and that you can have even greater success now and in the future. Conquer basic business tactics. Accept disappointment as a part of life and move past it. Don't judge your self-worth based on other people's successes. Accept and learn from your trials that you are never alone, and God will help you through anything. You will succeed and find joy in your art profession or in life in general. I started off tonight asking you guys those 3 questions to list your 3 important decisions that you have to make that you are facing now. The answer to one of those questions or more, I promise you that if you will keep thinking about it and pray about it, you will receive an answer to that question. If not now, then very soon. Because God doesn't want to leave you to flounder. He wants to provide a way for you to find joy in this life and joy in your particular life. I promise you that God loves you. He has blessed me with the chance to come here and speak with you today. It's an honor, really. Thank you so much for your time and your prayers and your thoughts, and I am grateful for this opportunity. And I love to say this at the end of a speech. I say this in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen. Amen. Do we have any questions? Are we good? Oh, well, you guys run this. I don't work here. So does this get passed around then? And then we'll do that before. So we need to leave it. The latest is 8:45, right? We're good. I tried to stay within my time frame. Okay. I don't think this will take very long to do the prizes at the end, so.
I got 2 questions. When you make logos, do you use vector or do you use raster?
Oh, I always use vector. Is there another way? I'm sorry for these that
Like
use
in
raster.
pixels or like map?
Always vector.
Okay.
Oh my goodness, if I've had clients come to me, they'll hire me specifically because they've only been given a JPEG and they need to do a billboard campaign. And you can't blow up a JPEG, it'll get pixelated. It has to be redesigned, redrawn. So I usually say, do you want to do a refresh at this point? And then we'll usually refresh their logo unless they really love the old one.
Right.
So definitely always a vector.
And then, how do you get jobs for commissions or like illustrating books?
For books, everyone, okay, all of the book, there's just a couple that I showed you. Everyone has found me through searching online, and has led them to either my Google page that has a physical address or my website. And so you need to get yourself online to be searchable. None of them, okay, I take that back. One of them I got because my sister is an author and she wanted me to design. That was the first one that had a woman on it that had red hair, called the Daughters of Daniel series. So most of it is by searching online. That's why I say, if you don't have a website as an artist, doesn't matter what you do, get a website. If you feel like you can't do a website, please get a social media account. Get multiple social media accounts. As many things as you can to be searchable online is what you need to do. To find free leads without paying any advertising costs.
How do you stay safe while you do that and also get noticed?
Safe. Oh, okay. That's a tricky one because my address is listed. So to save money, I'm all about low risk, high reward in my business. Other than that name thing I told you about, the learn from my mistakes, that was a risk. Luckily, I came out unscathed. But my address is listed, my phone number is listed. And so I get spam things and I just filter it out through. iPhone's really good about that. Staying safe is I have video. Are we talking about safety, like physically me? Okay, so I have cameras in my house that record everything. I have had one stalker guy that has tried to have meetings with me and things. I can see on my phone and don't answer the door. It's been kind of rare, but it's hard because I put myself out there. It's part of what sets me apart and why people choose me is they feel like they know me. They feel like they can trust me because I'm so transparent and I talk about, the things that I love. And so those are some of the things technology will help you with. And you can actually on Google, you can get a Google phone number that's used exclusively only for your business, and then have your personal one. So that can help you too. Was there another question besides that, or did we get it? Okay. Shout it out? Yeah. Oh, yeah. I don't know. Is there anyone else that ready? Oh, we got two. Okay, after him.
Yeah, so I'm about to graduate, and I have a small family, and there's a lot of stress around that, and we're moving back to Georgia, where my wife and I are from, and all of that. And so do you have any tips for handling the stress, or I need to support my family,
Yeah.
and but I want to be able to break into the industry, and I don't want to make decisions that are based entirely on finances,
Yeah.
because that could lead me down a path where I can't build the career that I want, and so I'm trying to balance all of those things.
That is a great question. I think most of us, or all of us, can relate to that. There's the first couple of things. The first thing that comes to mind is learn to save money, learn to coupon, find the deals, live within your means or below your means and and learn that skill. That's a life skill that can help any of us. I cut coupons, I go out to dinner when there's a deal, like my family knows, like I buy clothes on clearance or, like that's how I think. And so that will help with the financial part. But in our industry, it's part of our industry is it's up and down. So the more things that you can do to, again, free advertising online that you can do, creating a website with Wix, that's free. You don't have to pay a monthly fee for that. I did that for 5 years before I actually bought my own URL. And I bought like 4 after that because it wasn't that expensive. It was like $80 a year. So definitely do that so that you have credibility, so that somebody, when they search your name, they find what you do and that they choose you over somebody else who's more ambiguous. Other than that, I would say learn to be adaptable. When COVID happened, my clientele, I had 3 contracts ready to sign. I had 10 current clients. I went down from being full-time to 0 for 6 months. So what did we do? My kids and I, we sold stuff on eBay. I found deals with my clearance mindset and I upsold it on eBay for 6 months. It was like a game for us. It's like, okay, how much can we make? We make 90%. Like we upcharge 90% of whatever the cost was and sell it for more. Be adaptable. Sometimes you won't be able to work within your industry. I mean, you may not have that luxury all the time, and just be patient and know that if you have faith in God, you have a good relationship with Him, He wants you to succeed, and you're open to His direction, He'll help you find that job that you need and help you adapt until you find that job that you need. I hope that helps.
So for when we're starting, and people know we're designers or artists, sometimes like our friends or like close people come to us asking us for some work, and they're like, oh, can you help me with this? And you kind of want to give it for free, but then your teacher still is like, don't give your work for free. So how do you deal with setting a price that it's affordable, but that it's also like worth for your talent and your knowledge? And like, how do you know like what tips you have?
So for that, I was pretty clear cut because I know what you mean. And I'm a people pleaser. Oh my goodness. So for me, if it was church related, I'll design for free. I've designed family history like packets and things for state conferences. I've designed, multiple flyers and things. That's always for free. If it's a friend or family member, you either do it for trade, and we didn't discuss this, but you guys should always get a contract. If you haven't got a contract, 1-page contract, I'm happy to show you mine. It's really basic language if you want to. Always get a contract, even with family members, okay? I have a multi-millionaire neighbor, and I have a contract with him. He tried to stiff me for like 3 months until I said, I'm gonna be doing a small claims court to get my money back. And then he's like, really? I knew he had the money. He's a multi-millionaire. He like sells real estate and everything, and he'd write checks for like 50 grand for tithing. So always get a contract to cover you. And then for me, family and friends, unless it's like my parents, like I helped redesign their house. They had a house fire and I actually redesigned it and did that for them for free. Or trade services with them is what I would say. Or if not, this is the price. This is the cost it's going to be. So those 3 things: trade a service, church is yes for me, you decide, and then you can just charge them what your typical thing is and be upfront about it. And then they can decide. And it's not on you. Okay. Anything else? Oh, okay.
I like what you said about enjoying the process of college, and I feel like I've been a little bit.
Oh, wait, just a minute. People can't hear you.
Oh, okay.
And we want everyone to hear what you have to say.
Sure.
Thank you.
So about enjoying college, I felt a little bit stuck because I did concurrent enrollment in high school,
Mm-hmm.
and I went to an only academics high school, so I never got electives, and then I transferred here, and all of my elective credits were filled by my required classes,
Mm-hmm.
and I've like really wanted to take art classes or music or whatever. I guess I know being adaptable is important, but like, how would you recommend? Like, would you consider it worth it to like pay out of pocket? Financially, nothing covers stuff that's not required. I'm just curious, like.
That's a really good question. So for me, I think there's value in all forms of education. If you have the aptitude to go down to YouTube and like watch stuff and learn that way, go for it. If you can afford a community college class, they have that for ceramics. That's half the stuff I did that I entered, for art shows and stuff for ceramics. I'm not a ceramicist or anything, but I took that. It was cheap. It was like $100 for a semester and included the clay and all the ceramic firings and everything. So you can do that to save money, but also feel free to give yourself permission that you can learn in this environment in other disciplines. If you have it, you never know where it's going to lead you. I was able to merge my architecture and my graphic design for several projects and will in the future. Even though they're technically different career paths, I can merge them. If you have an aptitude in something in botany, in physics or something, who knows what's impact. The point of any questions that you have, the Spirit, He knows everything. He's a member of the Godhead. And Heavenly Father loves you. He will direct you to what is best for you to help you feel fulfilled and happy in this life. He wants you to be happy. That's the whole point of this life. So learn whatever you want to as the Spirit gives you peace. And that's the key. You'll always feel peace about a decision. That's what I would say. Oh, one more quick one, and then we'll do the drawing. You look so excited when you're waving at me. We have to. Oh, well, I was about to be like, hi.
But I also met you during the travel study as well. So hi.
You
nice to
did
meet
at
you.
Salt Lake City, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
But I was just wondering, so I actually used to be a cabinet, like I did kitchen design.
Okay.
My dad owned a cabinet business, and I was wondering, so you mentioned that you had combined your architecture with the graphic design. So with architecture, was it like an associate's degree then?
Yes.
Okay.
And actually, my professor right here is Garth Jensen. Yes, he's amazing. He's an architect. He helped with the small temples that were designed and built throughout the whole world. He was a member of that committee. So yes, you can take the things that you know in cabinetry and apply it.
Okay.
So what are you studying now? Remind me.
Well, I'm actually studying art education.
Okay.
But that's just, I don't know, I just had this feeling where it's like, I should look into that.
Okay, imagine this, okay? This is just a scenario. Imagine that you are offering therapy through art, through building furniture with kids and teaching them at school. Imagine that you run a YouTube channel where you educate people on the beauty of design from an artistic perspective and then the history of the cabinet making or what. You can take what you love and merge it with something in your degree. Whether for your own personal pursuits or maybe for a whole new career. You never know. It's amazing what is out there that can be created. Does that help?
Yes, thank you.
All right. Okay. All right. Is this the bowl?
Yep.
Okay. Oh, wait, I can't do it. That would be like
You want me to draw? Or
Brother Franson. They can all hate you. And okay, has anyone not done this yet? If you haven't, okay, it's in the back. Go write your name and we'll add it to the pool towards the end since there's like 12 prizes up here, okay?
What's the prize for?
Oh, okay. So all of these things up here I've either designed or have personal meaning for me. So there's like t-shirts, there's men's and there's women's ones in different styles. There's earrings I've designed and fabricated. There's like a little painting kit. There's just fun things that remind me, like it's funny. In Italy, I killed everything I touched. And it's like the most ideal growing climate in the world. But now I can actually grow plants. So I've got a little plant here. I took a printmaking class and screen printing class. And so I've done this. This is like literally me pushing it through the screen. So I've got some of those here too. So whatever interests you or you want to give as a gift, you can choose. So the first person gets to choose and then we'll just go down.
Okay, so they're just picking?
Yeah.